This video starts off with a massive thank you to the people who have my back, supporting me and enabling me to continue making content and doing what I love. I would be nothing without you guys, so thank you very much. In today's video, we will be discussing the third stage of Dragonstar Arena. I hope you enjoy. Greetings, Gilliam the Rogue here once again with another Threats of Tamriel segment. In today's episode, we will be going over the third stage of Dragonstar Arena, the Marsh. In here, we'll be dealing with lots of poison and fiends of nature. There'll be zombies, there'll be walmasus, there'll be crocodiles, and there's going to be a lot of movement. If we pay attention to the ground, there's nothing apparently wrong here. That is until the start of the third round. Again, poison will begin sprouting in the cardinal directions as well as the center. It'll be a big red circle. Poisonous mist will flood the area that it's associated with. So if one starts here, it'll start as a small red circle and it'll quickly expand outwards and then sit there for about 5 to 10 seconds. If you stand in any portion of the red, you will take extremely high poison damage. The only way to survive is to spam the ever-living hell out of damage shields, and even that won't save you in the most part, or most of the times. This is insanely high damage. However, you have ample time to react and always stay in motion. Never stop moving. You'll often be baited into thinking, oh, let's all just stack right here, and everyone places their ground AoEs, and then all of a sudden a big poison circle starts. Do not run to the corners. Instead, run to here, the intermediary direction, so like southwest or northwest. You'll want to stand here, 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 or here, because these areas are safe from poison. Even if I have a poison cloud coming from west, south, and the center, I will be safe if I'm standing right here, because they will not encompass all three parts of the map. They'll just take up their own respective areas, and then I'll be able to weave in and out. Now, don't ever dodge roll through them. You'll still take damage because you cannot dodge roll magical AoE effects. The biggest threat in here is the poison, but not in and of itself. There's going to be a mob that we'll talk about a little bit further called stranglers, and stranglers are little nasty living plants that pull you every once in a while. If you are not blocking, you'll be pulled to their target destination, and you'll probably get pretty fucked up if you aren't ready for it. So if you don't have a damage shield, if you don't have hots rolling, or there's just a lot of mobs over in the area, or it pulls you through poison, you're gonna have a bad time. And where these spawn is, again, these intermediary directions, so southwest, northwest, northeast, and southeast. These are the four corners that they'll spawn in. You'll see a little singular globe or portal every once in a while. That means a strangler is probably spawning. You want to have someone or two DPS at the ready. The really nice thing is that they're weak to fire, so if you have a Dragon Knight or you're using Force Pulse, if you hit them or with like a Flame Staff, they're probably going to be stunned, so you have a short amount of time to deal damage to them. A very helpful way to take care of things. Other than that, we'll talk again about the types of enemies we'll be interacting with and the bosses as well. But that's pretty much it for what we're looking for on the ground. Again, I've completed this round, so we're going to go on to the next after we discuss this. But again, let's talk about the creatures we'll encounter as well as the gameplay footage. Right off the bat, we see this big poisonous circle. This is the red circles I was talking about. We'll see them more in the video. I just wanted to give a demonstration of what they look like so you're ready as you go in. But the first enemy we'll be fighting is the vicious Nereid. She has a very nasty water geyser attack. It'll follow you. After she places it, you can move out of it. It does lots of ice damage. It's very painful. Look out. She'll also have this like watery torrent around her that can be bashed. Pretty straightforward. Focus her immediately. Next we have the Conjurer. We see him doing this mechanic here. He's going to target one of his allies and make them take 75% less damage while this beam persists. Bash it by all means necessary. He'll also have another bashable attack where he'll summon this void thing from the sky, bash it, otherwise move out of it. Easy peasy. Next is a very basic enemy, a Crocodile. Only gonna really have this AoE conal, very easy to move out of, doesn't do a lot of damage. He also has a heavy attack from his bite, which can do high damage to squishier targets, but Most of the time, he's very easy to see. He's very telegraphed. Just move away from him or kill him. Next, we have the Corpse Husk. It's just a little zombie. When he dies, his body is going to emanate poison or disease damage. Doesn't do terribly high damage. Very straightforward. Can be messed up by a lot of Dawnbreakers or Fighters Guild abilities. Not a high priority target. Very, very weak. Will die to your cleave damage most of the time. Next, we have the Savage. He has a sword and board. That means he's going to have a charge attack as well as a heavy attack. His charge attack will deal extremely high damage and knock you over on your butt if you manage to get hit and are not blocking. And his heavy attack will also set you off balance if it lands, but it will not knock you up in the air. Just block his attacks or move out of it. Next is the Hedge Wizard. He also has this little void thing that he'll summon from the sky. We actually see one falling on us now. And then he'll also have a mechanic where he gains bound armor, which he'll take less damage and do additional damage. Really straightforward. Deals kind of annoyingly high damage, but not terribly threatful. Just kill him from a range. Next is the Womasu. He's got a charge attack, and he's got an AoE Conal Lightning Breath. He doesn't have any of the crazy mechanics from VMA, so he's not as terrifying, but he is a beefier target, and once he gets to 50% health, if he finishes mechanic, he will begin taking 20% less damage, so kill him immediately. Next is the Obnoxious Strangler. These punks are going to be spawning in the directions that we talked about, and they're going to pull you every once in a while. You can block this or dodge roll it, however I suggest blocking. They're weak to fire, kill them immediately, and then they'll also drop poison when they die, and then have a channel effect that can be bashed. Really straightforward, nuke them. Next is the dual-wield bitch. I don't even remember her name. She does extremely high damage. She has Blade Cloak, meaning she takes less AoE damage. She does AoE damage herself. She has Steel Tornado that covers the original 12 meters. It does insanely high damage. She does Rapid Strikes. This must be blocked, and that's about it. She does extremely high damage and must be kited around with the other boss. Do not focus her first, though, because the other boss is the mage guy, a shaman. He's going to have Liquid Lightning. You need to move out of it. He's going to have Overload heavy attacks. Move out of it. He's going to have Streak, which stuns a player, allows him to get in nasty places that you don't want him to be. He's also going to have this totem. If you break the totem, he will be stunned for 3 seconds. Very easy boss to kill, but can lead you into some nasty situations, so try focusing him first. Alright, let's get into gameplay. Okay, here we are with the original crew in Stage 3 of Dragonstar Arena. We're going to go to the northern part first, because that's where most of the ads are going to spawn. We're just going to need to make sure my food doesn't run out, reapply that. Just going to get ready with ground AoEs, buffing up as per usual. And there's going to be a Nereid at the start, so we're going to focus her. I'm going to get my siphoning proc up with Sap Essence so I can get my major sorcery. Just nuking stuff down right off the bat. We didn't even have to really save an ultimate for the Nereid because she has very low health. She does high damage, but if you focus her, she won't be a big threat. Just make sure the taunt or the tank taunts her right away. Deltia chaining in mobs and stuff. There we saw another one of those void things from the Hedge Wizard, so needed to bash it right away. A little bit of red circles showing up on the ground, just moving out of it. Not terribly high damage in terms of mechanics from these early mobs, but once we start getting later in, it's going to be a bigger threat with the poison, and we'll see that. But again, just getting ready. Deltia casting his Vigors to give us his powerful assault buff. Going to mess up this Womasu right off the start. There we saw his Conal attack, that little tail swipe he did. That'll knock you on your butt if you don't block it or get out. Drop a Destro ulti. Everyone's just dropping ultis. Not sure why, because everything's dead. Focus these Rangers from a bit, or from afar, because they're going to do some nasty damage if we let them just sit in the back. So Deltia chains them. Here's that Strangler, and I wasn't ready for it. I should have been, so I got pulled. Then you see he got stunned there. That's because my Force Pulse does fire damage, and he's weak to fire damage. And enemies that are weak to their respective element will be stunned. Now we start seeing the poison start showing up. That little one in the intermediary direction was from a Strangler, and then the ones in the cardinal directions are the Poisonous Mist. And both will do pretty high damage, so watch out for them. Alright, gonna focus another Wamasu right here. He's backing up to do his charge attack. We don't want to let him do that. There he goes. Everyone's out of it, so not terribly high damage, or not really worrisome at all. Got some rangers. I noticed there are stranglers, so I'm going to start block casting my abilities, because I don't want to get pulled around namby-pamby. I don't like that. Other healer takes care of the other one. I'm going to drop a Destra ulti because I know that Nereid's coming, and I want her to be down before she does any damage to us. Really simple stuff here. Getting ready for another Strangler. Kill him really quick. That's the only time you see right there where the Strangler drops poison, and then we had poison in the center. So you have room to move around. Just don't try and sprint always. Don't always be dodging and don't have drastic movement. Be very conservative with what you're doing. Keep in mind the space in which you have to work with. Another Wamasu spawning. Oh, the poison's setting, so everyone's getting to their sides. See how we all congregated to the intermediary directions instead of the corner? Because we don't want to be locked in there if lots of red circles start appearing or a Strangler pulls us, because then we'll get fucked up. So I noticed that the Strangler pulled an ally, so I focused it right down. Just taking care of adds. Here's another Strangler. I'm going to focus it instead of the Nereid because I want it to be taken care of. Grav Crush. Oh, that Strangler still didn't die. I missed my cripple on it. That's what I should have done is I should have placed my ranged dots on it so it would have died from afar. Deltia chaining in all of the adds. DK tanks are really phenomenal here, and if you aren't a DK, I highly suggest wearing Swarm Mothers here, because they're just taunt everything and let it be pulled to you. There I demonstrated how high the damage from Poison Mist was. I put on Harness and it still dealt damage. Alright, I almost made the mistake at starting from the north here, but then Joy pointed out that, hey, we need to get these Stranglers, so that's why we're not aimed at the boss. This is round 5, so we're just getting ready. We actually wiped before because we left the Stranglers alive and totally forgot about those, so I cut that. But here we have 2 Stranglers spawn, so it's best to have 2 of your DPS go take care of them, one side each. And now we're going to start focusing the mage. We see that totem is up, so we're going to break that. We see the mage just went down on his knees. Now he's doing the overload heavy attack on our tank. Deltia keeps him pointed away from the group so he doesn't vaporize us. There he does a liquid lightning on the ground, so everyone moves away from it and kind of just lets him chill. I put on Harness just to demonstrate how high the damage is, and I walk in and it immediately gets eaten. So that's how scary this is. He drops another lightning. I put up my Harness to demonstrate again how high the damage is, get a little bit of magic back. Alright, this is where things start to get spooky. We have a Wamasu, we got Stranglers, we got bosses, and we got a Nereid spawning. So this is where I want a Gravity Crush or a Nova. I want to take care of that Strangler so our healer doesn't get pulled. And then everyone's just AoEing this shit down because there's just so much damage going on. So really save your Nova there and a lot of your ultimates, like a Destructive Rage or whatever if you're a caster build. Otherwise, a Shooting Star if you're a stand build. You'll get a lot of ultimate back. There we saw how high that damage from Steel Tornado is. It actually killed Joy. It does stupid high damage. I really wish that it'd get nerfed because it's untelegraphed. You have no clue when it's happening. But Liquid Lightning again. I noticed that totem's up, so I want to break it and then finish off the mage. There the dual wielder died before the mage. That's usually no bueno. You want to focus the mage first because he has the highest damaging mechanics. So focus him and then kill the dual wielder, and then if you're ranged, stay away from the dual wielder. Then grab your chests, repair up if you've had any deaths, and on to the next round. If you've liked the content in this video, consider pledging at my Patreon. The community's interest and support keep me inspired and drive me to continue improving and giving back. Thanks to all my patrons who've already shown their dedication. I truly appreciate it. If you have feedback, drop a comment, give me a thumbs up or a thumbs down, or subscribe to the channel. Other than that, I will see you guys next time.